ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. Uh, Buying a used vehicle. The big, the big question we're gonna have to ask right off the bat when it's a used car, is it from a dealership or is it private? And the biggest difference is, anybody know what the biggest difference is when purchasing, like labor? Um, what I'm looking for here is taxes, but maybe labor too, because used car, you need to put in money, right, for the safety. But when you buy from a dealership, it's automatic 12% tax. And when it's private, it's actually PST, the 7. Yes, it's the 7. So it's PST only. Yeah, we'll talk more about that later. I'll show you on your formula sheet. It's there every time, so you don't need to even wonder about it. So some definitions that you need to know when it comes to a used vehicle is MPI stands for, that's right, Manitoba Public Insurance. They've been under scrutiny lately because they've been mismanaging funds. I don't know if you heard that on the, I don't know, do you listen to radio still these days? No? Maybe just a tweet or whatever your social media is. It will have popped up, I'm sure. In Manitoba, car insurance is provided by a Crown Corporation. You can buy insurance online or through an AutoPack agent. Right? These are AutoPack is kind of like what they call like car insurance in particular, and you go through a broker. So anywhere you go, any strip mall will have a broker, an AutoPack agent. So if you want to insure your car after you bought it, you just walk in, and you need documents for that. You need a safety inspection. Prior to insuring a vehicle in Manitoba, it needs to pass safety, right? And safety inspection is also called, this is the official name on that document, the COI, Certificate of Inspection. Once you get your safety done, it's valid for 12 months. Oh, months is already there, sorry. The document has 3 copies. There's a white, a pink, and a yellow, right? That checklist has 3. The one you want is the white one. That's the one you want. So if you buy the car off of someone on Kijiji and they just give you the yellow one, you tell them, give me the white one. You know how I know? Because I took the yellow one. I went to AutoPack. I wanted to insure my car. And they're like, you got to go back and get the white one, right? So, and who knows, maybe that person you met drove from a different city or different town and you met, and now the person is gone, right? So it's a pain. So get the white copy. Otherwise, you will not be able to insure your vehicle. The person buying the car gets the white copy. There it is one more time. I believe in repetition because it helps you remember. The TOD stands for transfer of ownership document. The TOD and the bill of sale, a legal document that lists the name of all parties involved, as well as the make, model, VIN number, that's the serial number of the car, the mileage at the time of the transaction. Everyone should have a signed copy of this document. So if you're buying it off of someone, you should have a copy of this signed document. And so I print 2 and we both sign both copies, right? So that's what I would recommend you do. You can get a template online at MPI. Just Google bill of sale template. There's tons of them out there, but AutoPack or MPI has one that they have on their website. I'll show you that as well. Purchase price, the actual value paid for the vehicle. I'm going to use a different color for this, just so because it's going to come back. It may be more or less than the book value. What in the world is book value? AutoPack has a like a record. It's not a book anymore. It's online. They have it online, but they can look up what your car is worth to them, just like a standard, right? It could be that the car you're buying is actually cheaper than it's on their record because maybe it has some damages. Maybe it has a lot of kilometers. I don't know. It could be that you're paying more than the book value, but they have a book value, okay? We'll look at that next. Book value, the value of the car based on the make and age. It does not actually reflect the actual market value. It's just for them to have something to go by. They probably base their decision on paying you if your car is written off. They probably base it on the book value somewhat as well. Provides a reference point. You can call AutoPack and ask for that book value before you consider buying or selling. I did that. Right? I call them. It's like, hey, I want to buy a Jeep Wrangler. What is it to you? What is it worth to you on yours? And then they actually give you three. It's like you have a high, a medium, and a low value. So they gave me all three. Okay. You will need to provide the make, year, and model of the car, obviously. Trade-in, I don't think I need to say anything about that. It's the same as before. You just take it off before we add taxes. Parts and labor, any repairs or any work done. Guys, it could even be a tune-up, an oil change, anything. It's considered parts and labor, and we tax it 12%. Parts and labor is also taxed 12% in this province. Then there's a lien search. Anybody heard of a lien search before? Don't think so. I honestly don't think so. If you did, I would be very impressed. A lien search is a legal claim. A lien is a claim or legal right against the asset that is typically used as a collateral to satisfy a debt. Say what? The lien, here it is. The lien is established by a financial institution and it serves to guarantee an underlying obligation. No taxes on this. Highlight that one. I will explain to you what a lien is because that probably doesn't make sense, does it? Okay. Where do I have the lien diagram? Come with me way to the back. Just put your finger on this page because we're coming back. I'm just going to show you a bunch of things. Go to 93. Anybody recognize this one? This is what we call a 93, page 93, way at the back. It's what we call the COI. This is the safety, right? This is a draft. This is exactly what it looks like. I don't think I'm going to go into details, but I'm just going to focus on this box right here. If the mechanic checks off if any of these items that they check for doesn't pass, the safety will fail. There will actually be a check mark or an X where it says fail. You then have the option to take your car back and make the repairs that need to be done yourself. You can actually do it yourself, get it done, bring it back with this paper, and the mechanic has to check it without charging you. All right, because they get paid. AutoPack pays them, and you pay, by the way, as well. Every time a safety is done, you pay for the safety alone, just to check. I don't know how much it is right now. Let's say $100. They say, hey, you need a new headlamp, you need new brakes. You go back to your mechanic, or you do it yourself. You come back, they check for the things that failed, and then the mechanic, if it passes, will cross this one off like that. It's okay for it to be like this. All right, it just means that it failed first and then now it's passing. So you will sometimes be confused why are both of them checked off, right? It's okay. They'll just have to go and make sure that the things that failed before are now okay. You're probably going to forget this when it's time to buy, but I hope you remember some of this. All right, keep going. 94. This is the bill of sale from Autopack. Okay, this is MPI website. On 94, okay? So that's the bill of sale that I would suggest you print. Or whoever sells the car technically should be printing this. Okay. Got it? You don't need to remember. You just kind of just remember that I told you it's somewhere online on the MPI website. And the last document that you're going to want is the transfer of ownership. Do you recognize this? Every car should have this in the glove compartment. It's a blue little, it's usually folded up. You see where it says sign here? You see that? It's very small. Autopack isn't really gracious with the space they give you to sign. But if the other owner hasn't signed this, you're not going to be able to insure your car. Like they're going to ask for this document, right? The TOD. And so it needs to be signed here. And that's basically the other owner saying, I'm releasing the car to you, the new owner. Okay. So 3 things you need to go to Autopack. If you want to drive that thing legally, you need the safety, you need a bill of sale, and you need the TOD. If you don't have that, you're not going to get insured. It's just not going to happen, all right? I learned the hard way. Back to 14. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about Carfax. Somebody talked about Carfax yesterday, right? 14, bottom of 14. I strongly recommend that you perform a history check on any vehicle you're planning on purchasing. If you're planning on purchasing it, I would first search. I know it costs money, but it's worth it. Carfax is a good website. Okay. Anywhere, any cars that have been purchased in North America, so the US or Canada, will be registered with this website. The website has access to all those serial numbers. It searches for any reported accidents or damages the vehicle was involved in. You will need the 17-character VIN number for this. Okay, it's a lot, but the VIN number tells you a story of the car. To be honest, even the color of the car can be found using the VIN number. So I'll just show you that as well, and then I'll give you a little break before we continue. Because I'm talking a lot, and you're probably like, I'm tuning you out right about now. Go to 97. Most cars have the VIN number on the front, right? So if you see it displayed on a parking lot and says for sale, you can take a picture of the VIN. This is 97, page 97, way at the back. So this is a VIN number sample, right? You can take a picture and you can go to Carfax, type this in, and see if the car has any previous damages. I will say this. If the person had an accident and they didn't report it, it's obviously not going to be on Carfax, right? It's only if it actually went through like a legal claim, Autopack, or a mechanic, only then. Here's a lien, guys. So technically, this is like a crane taking your house. If you don't pay for it, they'll just take it back. It's just like a cartoon, obviously. But a lien is a legal right to possess another's property until the debt is repaid in full. Yeah, it's like repos. Have you seen those shows where they repossess planes and cars? They didn't pay for it, right? So the bank has ownership of it. So I'm going to stay on 97 and draw a car real quick. Sorry, guys, this is all I've got. That's all I've got, right? So if this is the bank and they give you money, this is you, to buy the car, right? They will, this is supposed to be a chain, okay? This is the lien right here. It's online, it's a system where the bank says, hey, until this car is fully paid off, it's attached to us, right? So that you can't borrow the money in Manitoba, buy this car, drive to the States and sell it to somebody over there, and then never repay your loan, right? The banks will always be attached to that. So that's what a lien is. It's a legal, it's attached to the bank until you've paid it in full. Think of it that way. So you want to search using this VIN number, you want to search if there is a lien on this car. If there is, don't buy it. Okay, don't buy it. Naturally, it could be that the owner still owes money on it. Before you purchase it, get that person to have a letter from the bank saying it's paid in full. Like I required the person I bought it from to give me that letter from the bank saying it's now paid in full. Okay, because I told him there's a lien on your car. He's like, oh yeah, I owe $5,000 or whatever on it. He went, paid it, and now we're all good. Go to 98. This is a sample of Carfax right here, and this was for a Ford Explorer. This is just a sample, right? And it says that at the top here, there's only one owner that owned it before. What does it say right here? Lien check. There's a lien record found, it says, right? So you're like, uh-oh, right? I'm just gonna check that. And there's some accident damage found. Last registered in Ontario. This could be normal. It's not anything out of the ordinary. 6 service records found. So it might have been, some of it might have been minor or not. When you click on this, it shows you all the history. Okay. No US history found. So this means the car was never registered in the US. It's probably a good thing. There's a recall found. More about that. Not declared stolen, and no import record found. So it goes into all the details. So just pay, I don't know, I can show you tomorrow. I'll go on the website and show you how much it costs right now. Probably 50, 60 bucks, but it's worth it in my opinion. Okay. Lots of information, I know. Let's go back to 14. And I went over a bunch of definitions and whatnot. And I'm thinking I'm going to make a little bit of an adjustment here. If I start used vehicle, I'm not actually going to get to a full example, and that I don't like that. It's going to backfire. So I'm going to throw in some insurance here. We're going to talk about insurance, okay? Because you need to know about insurance. You're okay with that? No math, just talk. So we're going to put that on hold. Go to 76. Please have a highlighter because there's a lot of information here. I'm not gonna go over all of it. I'm just gonna go over the things you really need to know. 76. Tell your neighbor it's 76. Wake up. Okay. Give him a little elbow. Okay. 76. Insurance. I'm gonna highlight that, knowing that I've gone over it. What does AutoPack insurance do? It compensates you for your vehicle's damage and your injuries. It also compensates others for their damages and their injuries, right? My wife was once involved in a like a she rear-ended somebody else because just slammed the brake, and so she had to go for physio for over a year. That's all covered by AutoPack, right? Physio is expensive. It's like $50 every time you go, 60. So over a year, it's all paid. I worked at 7-Eleven once, long time ago, night shift. Someone drove into our bathroom from the outside, from the parking lot. Yeah, she, sorry, oops, I shouldn't have. The person, right, um, thought it was in reverse, put it in drive, right into our bathroom. So you need to pay for that, right? I know it's kind of silly, but it happens, right? Sometimes you could actually legitimately slide. You know, when it's very slippery some days, you slam the brakes, you're like, oh, it's coming, right? Boom, you run into someone, and maybe that person damages a fence or something. Autopack takes care of all of that. So, some of the things you need to know about Autopack coverage. Um, let me see here. These are the three things. There's basic all perils coverage, personal injury protection plan, and basic third-party liability. That is basic. That comes with all insurances. Like the basic one you buy is gonna have these three components included. But I'm gonna say this: you can get optional AutoPack coverage to increase your third-party liability to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, all the way to 10 million. And I would say this, it costs you a little bit more. Every time you upgrade, it costs you more, but not a whole lot. I would say pick at least, right? This is basic. Basic is 1 million, right? I want to say choose 2 million minimal. I would go maybe up a bit more. And I will show you how you can go to the website and play around with this. And it costs you maybe $30 more a year to go for a 2 million third party liability. What is third party liability? It's saying like it's damages you cause beyond yourself. So if you crash, right? If you crash and you roll into the ditch, or you get into the ditch, your car's all dented up, and so it's just your car really that suffered damages. But if you hit someone else, and maybe that person hit someone else or whatever, that now it's beyond just you. So this is taking care of all those damages caused to someone else. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Keep going. 77. I need you to know this part right here. I'm gonna circle this whole thing. It may come as a multiple choice, who knows? But your deductible is the amount you're responsible for paying, right? When you make a claim. If you make a claim, if you're responsible, you need to pay a certain amount. Did you know that? It's just a couple $100. But yeah, sometimes it's 500, 400, 300. There's various deductibles you can choose. Okay. Autoback claim is you need to pay for the deductible if somebody hits you and you're not at fault. No, it's just the person at fault that pays it. Okay. Autopack Autopack insurance covers anything above that. Over your deductible, they will cover that. Let's talk a little bit more here. I'm going to use pink for this part right here because this is very important just for life, okay? To make an AutoPack claim, right? To make a claim, you need to report all relevant information about the incident to AutoPack. Um, so what do you do when you get into a crash with someone? What do people normally do? What do you see happen when they exchange information? License plates, pictures, videos, because sometimes investigators will find out based on the angle of the hit that you cut off the other person, even though it's kind of rear-ended, but they look at the angle and you might actually be considered not at fault, right? One thing that I'm going to tell you is when you give your don't give your driver's license to don't let them take a picture of your driver's license. Why would I say that? What's on the drive? Yeah, your address. They know where you live now. And I'm just gonna tell you, I know someone, they had a little hit, they hit each other a little bit, they exchanged information, and then they went their own way. And the other person, like my friend, wasn't at fault. The other person was considered at fault. So AutoPack was like, you got to pay the deductible. It's your fault. You're going to get demerits. And then that person contacted my friend and said, hey, I know where you live. Like, you better change your story. And it was kind of scary because I'm like, how crazy is this person? Like, what is he going to do? So don't give your address. They don't need that. Just your license plate, the damages, maybe the name and a phone number, right? But don't do the driver's license thing, right? It's not necessary. Another thing you should look for is witness. Like if there's a witness or two, ask them politely. It's like, hey, can I have your number, name and number so I can put you down as a witness? Because sometimes the stories change, right? Like sometimes the stories change, so you want to make sure you have that. So yeah, it seems like you guys know what you're doing. So make sure you give information, but do not give your address. I wouldn't even give my driver's license. Just your name and phone number, and that's it. Because if you have the license plate, AutoPack can find out who it's registered to, right? So, all right, paying for AutoPack. Okay, this is what affects your rate. These are the four main things that affect your rate. These factors affect your premium. Make sure you write this down. And I'm going to ask this because the province has done this before. Does gender affect your premium out of these four? No. Uh, so sometimes do merits and demerits, they do affect your license. They do affect your license, but they don't affect your car insurance. Did you know that? Like okay, I'll be more specific. They give you a discount if you have merits. But if you have demerits, you're not paying more for your car insurance. Not more than like the max, like they have a standard amount. You're not going to pay more. You're going to pay more on your driver's license. That's for sure if you have demerits, right? So the province, I don't know, I feel like sometimes they're not fair because most of you don't deal with insurance. So I'm just throwing in curveballs to get you to think. Oh, wait. Never mind, your driving record is here, so never mind. I take it all back. Driving record does affect your premium. I don't want you to memorize all of this. Only the highlighted parts. Here is the probably the last thing that I'm going to talk about before moving on. Before closing for the day, I should say. This is very important. Highlight what your car is used for, and you have three choices: all-purpose, pleasure, and layup. You need to know those three. Those three you need to know. Okay. When would you use all purpose? Yeah, when you're driving every day. And I will use a different color here, but right, you drive to work or school and for business purposes. When you're using it on a regular basis, you have to pick that one. Pleasure or leisure, right, has limited business use. It can only be driven to and from work or school no more than 4 days a month. Yeah. And not more than 1,609 kilometers a year. I don't know who came up with that number, but I guess when they crunch numbers, that's what they say. But I think you just have to know that pleasure is like you're driving it every once in a while. And when you drive to work and school, it's no more than 4 days a month. Okay. And then the last thing is layup. Covers against fire, theft, and vandalism, hail, and lightning. But you cannot drive it. You can't drive it. This is when you like you go for a vacation, or you're leaving the country for a while, or you're not gonna drive the car at all. Layup is the way to go. It's like very cheap. It's like 100, $200 a year, right? Uh, you cannot park it on the street. Can't park on street. That's another one. I did not know this. I I once had an old beater and I'm just want that, and then they told me it's like you can't park it on the street. Has to be on private property. Okay. That's it, guys. Thank you for paying attention.